So in our game, you can see we have a ball that falls. When it hits our paddle, it goes up to the top. However, if it hits the ground, it doesn't actually die, it just sits there. So we got to make our game just a little bit more competitive, and we got to check if it's hit that bottom, because we're going to end our game. Now, previously, we would use if on edge bounce, but we don't want to bounce and go up to the top. We want to end our game. So we have to use our if statement, and we have to actually check if it's at the bottom. So we're going to go if, and there's a couple different ways we could actually do this. We can check the location, so we can see if that y value is 4, because that would let us know it's at the bottom. Or we can actually use the if sprite is touching edge block. So we can use this block, or we could use this block. Now I'm going to keep it really simple, and I'm just going to use the if sprite, which of course we want to be our ball, is touching the edge. So that's going to let us know if it's touching the edge. If it is, we're going to do a game over, and that should stop the game if it's touching that edge. So let's test it. It should bounce. Oh, but if you're looking at it, because it's still technically touching that edge, even though it's at our sprite, we get the game over regardless. So I can't just use if the ball is touching the edge, because that gives us our logical error. It works, it runs, just not the way it should. So I did say there was that other way of doing it, so let's try that one. But we're actually going to check, so we have to use that comparison, and we're going to check if the ball's Y position. So I got to make sure that I go to my game and I grab, there we go, grab the one that actually allows me to check the Y. So we're going to check if it's 4. So 4 is at that bottom there. So if it is, there we go, it's no longer game over, because that touching edge could also have been triggered when it was at the top of the screen, because when we told to go to the top, that was also an edge. So now we got to test it. If it hits that paddle, it should bounce. And we see we want to test it at different locations. And if we miss, we can see it now goes to our game over animation. So while there might be lots of different ways to do the program, you want to make sure that you're testing it, so that way your game actually works.